Oops. Let's hit the music. Might be a little low for you guys. There, that's probably better. Alright, let's get started. So, done a little bit more work on this since the last stream. Yesterday I was working on a head based off of the concept Goblin had worked on. And he has since actually done a texture pass on it. We may change a little bit, flatten some stuff out, take out some of the extra bits and stuff, and then especially the smaller teeth, take out some of the detail in them. I actually have a slightly lower res version of it, but I'm sure it'll be something we'll be playing around with a bit. So today, give a fan turn this direction because it's already getting stuffy in here. So for today, I'm gonna keep working on this rough out, kind of where the ruins are gonna be. And while I was kind of playing around with it, I was like, oh, what if this is against the wall? And then kind of, it almost started feeling not quite like a ziggurat, but like a little bit of an elevated kind of platform, almost ziggurat-ish, I guess, like a smaller one. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind. So it's kind of like a top. This could have been, you know, some sort of structure going up the middle, that type of thing. And then I think down in these areas, and then just inside when we start Shaded Dunes, will be more like base of walls from housing, like foundations and stuff like that. But with the idea of this, I was thinking maybe it'd be cool to have a little kind of underground area at some point, so I might play around with that as well. But alright, now I need to figure out what my plan of attack for today is, because I was doing some stuff earlier, so I did not come up with a complete plan of attack. Right now, again, I'm just kind of roughing some of this stuff in. I was playing around with potentially like a staircase coming off the sides of these, partly buried in the sand, but I did not like how it was working. So I think if I'm going to do the stairwell, I think what I'm going to end up doing is something more along the lines of, instead of using stairs, using 5, 6, and 5. Something like that, so that I can have the stairs kind of almost individually sticking out of places, so that they can, you know, have slanted, kind of slid off. Because it was just too solid looking. But I think what I want to play around with first is, it's kind of thinking, again, in my head, this is almost like a structure that I've been going up through, potentially with like gates or something. Although I think I'm actually off center. Not that I'm super worried about being perfect with this, because it is ruined stuff, and you know, being a sandy environment, I don't think stuff shifting somewhat is going to be that big of an issue. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. 4. What? Why is that not? Weird. Okay. I'll take this one. Let's do a new one. don't know why that one was not letting me make adjustments. Oops. So scale-wise, probably higher than that. Let's try 12. Oops, that's putting that in that one. Better. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of marking out where these could have been in the past. I called that correctly. And right now I'm keeping the bottoms and stuff on here because these could get adjusted at some point. I'm more kind of worried just about where stuff is going to be as opposed to what it's finally going to look like at this point. Oops, that was still snapped before, which is not what I want when I'm snapping stuff for this. But yeah, so now I kind of have almost like it could have been this central area with kind of things off to the side, and then these would have been I wish I could draw on the screen for you guys like I could if I was in a huddle with the team. But essentially, you know, this could have been the sides of a walkway with a roof over it type of an idea. So then the columns can be, you know, all kinds of shifted and stuff at this point. Actually, probably be better to set that. With Epic Pen, yes, I could if I had that set up. I do not have that set up. How are you doing, Zukin? Why am I not? Oh, hold on. Pivot. Okay. Let's set these ones too. Not that all of these are actually probably going to stay, and I'm probably going to break them up as well. Doing okay, a little groggy, I think, for a late night. I'm at, well, one, I had some caffeine earlier, but I surprisingly, for the first time in probably 2 or 3 weeks, actually had like a solid night's sleep. which was not, or was definitely appreciated. It helps if I hit the correct hotkey. Do you got anything going on today, Zukin, or just work? For now, we'll detach faces. Work at the moment. Oh, excuse me. Oops. That's better. I had the whole edge loop selected, so the bottom is all popping up there for a minute. We'll try and squeeze in a little M&M on the side. I want to work on a quick idle standing animation and toss in the new human and see what it looks like. Yeah, so I was I don't think I talked much in chat. I was lurking for a bit until all of a sudden I got super tired and just kind of like passed out. But yeah, I like the human that you're working on. How's my question with it is, how's the stretching now that the arms aren't T-pose and it's more A-frame? Because I know, like, from a T-pose, if you're doing a texture in the T-pose position, like, you get stretching going either way, but it's less extreme than, like, if you raise your arms above your head from an A pose. I'm not imagining it being too bad. Just curious. Yeah, I should do some overhead. Check that. Yeah, definitely. So I know that's one benefit to T-pose, but I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue. And also, if the character spends more of its time with its arms down, it becomes even less of an issue, I guess. But I was just curious on how that would look. Alright, so got that. Well, let's turn off snapping and let's go back to Google. This one I just turned off snapping. Oh, Unity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're going to have the arms down the majority of the time anyways, so I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. Oh my god, I can't mouse click. Oh my gosh, speaking of mouse clicking, what was it, the other day when I was bringing in, it was after my stream, I was bringing in and chopping up the terrain. My newer mouse was just completely like freaking out on me. Oh my god, I was getting so frustrated with it. Like, I would go to click and drag a marquee selection, and then like I'd click and start dragging, and then it would just be like, oh, you unclicked, and oh my god, it was driving me crazy. That, and I tried to initially do it in Unity, and it kept like crashing on me because you can't like there's a I'm assuming there's a limit, like a hard limit of faces you can select, and if you accidentally over select when you're selecting it, it becomes an issue. And then I've noticed finally that like this, if I select this, oh nope, it did it. Sometimes if I select from one direction, I don't get these weird extra bits that get selected. But then if you go over here and select the same space, it's going to make a liar out of me because I'm streaming and talking about it. But that's when it would cause issues. So yeah, I was having all kinds of fun with that mouse. That was a really random tangent because I couldn't click. But it was fun. So that mouse is in mouse jail right now, which is sitting in a wire cage drawer next to my computer. Hey Goblin, how's it going? That is not attached to where I want it to be. Do you want me to upload the new texture for the entrance? I haven't yet. Also, I'm good just watching the Boy season finale. Actually, I was watching that earlier this morning. I'll let let me know when you're done. We can talk about it off stream. I don't want to give spoilers. Just like to leave a couple of these. We don't need all of them to show up. Yeah, spoiler free stream. Yeah, I hate getting spoilers, and I don't like giving them, so... Even when people tell me, no, it's okay. I'm like, I still feel bad. I feel like I'm robbing somebody of their enjoyment if they decide to actually watch it. A couple spoilers ain't gonna hurt nobody. You still need to watch Kenobi? Yeah. I again, spoiler free, but Kenobi I did enjoy. Somebody just did a. It was up yesterday. Knowing Disney, it's probably not up anymore, and I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. But someone did a edit of Kenobi and edited it down to like a 2-hour experience as opposed to like a 4.5, 5-hour experience. Which makes sense because I believe it was initially supposed to be a movie at one point in time. So I guess it makes sense that it potentially, was longer than... it was made longer to make it into a show, I guess. Kind of like that. Dragon Quest X is one hell of a game, man. I've been playing it so much lately. Hey, Rediger, how's it going? I have not played Dragon Quest X. Honestly, I haven't been playing much of anything lately. I've been playing a little bit of Diablo 2 Resurrected, just because I've been seeing all the crap going on with Immortal, and I've been like, oh, I want to play Diablo, but I don't want to play Immortal because of all the crap that's been going on with it. I don't want to necessarily support that. But yeah, so because I pre-ordered that one, played a little bit with my son, but really had not gotten too into it because I was just getting on the team when it came out, so had Halo Reach spoiled for me way back when, shaking my head. I've been pretty good since at avoiding things. I don't know, I'm sure it's been so long since I played Halo Reach. I don't remember anything in Halo Reach, though, that, was shocking to me at the time. But again, I was still working at, Hollywood Video, I think, when Halo Reach came out. So, that was quite some time ago at this point. I believe that was one of the games that I just rented because I used to get free game rentals. Did that just snap that off? That's gonna annoy me. Yep, it did. What the heck? Why is that normal activated? Huh. I'll have to figure that out. Remember Cat. That name is becoming somewhat familiar. There's this way. No, I'm gonna say no. There's too many cobwebs. I'm getting too old, and it's been I think I did one playthrough of Halo Reach. And same with ODST. I only did one playthrough of that as well. But man, did that that commercial they did for ODST Man, that made me want to sign up to be a drop ship trooper, even though I'm afraid of heights. Let's see. I'm good. Glad to be here again and watching you work, man. It's good. It's nice. Yes, nice to see you back in the chat. It's been a bit. Dragon X10 is an MMO that was released in Japan or JP, and there's a huge community that's been translating stuff and programming apps to help translate stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So let's just do this by hand because this is not working. This is what you get. This is what I get for scaling stuff to really quickly do it as opposed to just modeling it like I should have. Faster snapping. So what are you working on? Also, R had prod. Is it hard to get into? Is what hard to get into? Sorry, I'm not following. Oh, you're talking about Radgar. My brain apparently is not as awake as I thought it was. I'm working on some of the ruins outside Wormsbane in the Newbie yard. So when Nick, Sean, and I had our conversation on kind of what we wanted to do with this area. Sean had mentioned wanting to kind of do similar to what we did with Fallen Watch, where you get it up on the cliff up there, and then the kind of different colored light. Do something similar with Wormsbane, so have Wormsbane up higher, although this is kind of blocking that line of sight, so that'll have to get addressed at some point. But so I rose this up during my stream on Wednesday. But as I was working off stream that night, I was trying to figure out what is making it raised up. Is it on a rock pediment, like a rocky outcropping or something like that? And then I put a wall here, and I kind of slanted the wall to make it different than, these walls, which kind of gave it almost a pyramid ziggurat type feel. So I thought, well, maybe it's some sort of just kind of elevated platform that's buried in a dune, since this is an archaeological dig anyways. So then I'm figuring that is kind of like, they built the entrance to the tomb on top of this because it's right up against the wall, and then the rubble of the city will be kind of strewn through this area, and this being, part of shaded dunes. This would be into shaded dunes. But this stuff will be mostly either buried or just kind of, a little bit of foundational type stuff. So I'm just kind of working on that today. Was putting in some like ruined pillars and stuff. These are probably get adjusted. I'm just kind of messing around right now, seeing what works, what doesn't work. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. And did that fix that? No, it did not. And this is where taking off the grid can really be annoying. Because you have to like bring it back and be like, okay, what did I do here? What's going on? Yep, not straight. I'm curious if there will be some high-level putrid skeleton patrolling outside Wormsbane. Hey, John, how's it going? I believe that was one of the things we were talking about. Maybe not that specific example, but we were talking about needing to get some more high-level mobs and stuff that are roaming around inside of here. To make it, you know, feel a little bit more dangerous, stuff like that. So it's definitely something we are looking to implement. Same thing with Wormsbane. I think we will be using Wormsbane a little, like Wormsbane is going to end up having more to it than the initial idea. So we'll have to see how all that turns out, though. Why is this still? Alright. This is gonna drive me nuts, and it's my own fault because I tried to cheat and do this quickly. Actually, let's back up. Let's get rid of this edge loop I just threw in here because it's just adding more work for myself. Global? No, let's go to global. Straight down. That's right. That's why it's so screwed up. It's because it is because I scaled it. I really should not have done that. Oh well. I'll just extrude out the rest of the stuff as I go along. And then replace these ones at some point. Alright. So that could be something like that. I'm trying to think. Do I want to have like a stairwell up there? Or do I want... Probably we should also, at least for now, duplicate this and move it over here. Something more like that. Cool. Alright, we'll leave that for now. So if I am doing this idea, this would need to extend, or this whole area is going to need to be risen up a bit. I think I'm going to do a combo. Raise this up. Something like that. And let's my local. Yes. This. And we will detach it. Something like like that. Can I do extrude on that? No, I cannot. Oops, that was not what I wanted. There we go. Oh, come on. Something like that. And then I need to fix this side. Although I really don't want it to be exactly like perfect, like puzzle pieces. So let's break this up a little bit. There's been some weathering over the years. Lots of wind and sand. Actually, my dragon's back on. I'm not trying to lose it. Let's see. Afternoon, it's looking great. What's on the agenda for today? Hey, Nicodemus. So today I am just kind of working a little bit in the Newbie yard area with the ruins. I'm trying to make the kind of risen plateau that we put Wormsbane up on top of make sense. So it's kind of looking like it's on like a buried stone platform, ziggurat type thing that it's sitting on, and then there'll be some buried just kind of foundations and stuff kind of strewn about down here. Sand like dais, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm working on, just trying to like make it structurally make sense in my head, while kind of playing around with some of the elements. Again, some of this stuff's buried, and some of this stuff's going to get cleaned up because this is going to be kind of like floating around underneath here. But for now, kind of envisioning like there would have been like a stairwell or something kind of going up the middle of this, with kind of offshoots, potentially rooms. I'm thinking maybe frame this in a little bit, kind of like this is framed in. Like this is almost like a space in itself, like an outdoor space. And then, yeah, down here, stuff will kind of be going into, like, there'll be, you know, stuff coming out of this essential dune that this is built up on top of. Same thing over here. This is going to be this will be shaded dunes though, but essentially it'll be almost like the sand is blown this way up against it. Probably need to. I grabbed that courtesy at one point and didn't mean to. I'll probably need to sculpt it a little, or not sculpt it, but model it a little bit more so that it is a little bit. Kind of feels like it's breaking, like a wave of sand is breaking over it. But that isn't actually going to be seen right now, so I'm not focused on that. Spawn points hidden outside of, or mostly decoration. So this is what the new Newbie yard is going to be. It's going to be walled in, so essentially this old civilization is here. And this wall that right now is solid is going to be broken up similar to this, or a little bit like over here. It's just going to have a slightly different architectural look to it, I guess. And then it will be the Newbie zone. So there's an archaeological dig that's kind of going on in this area. So it being like half buried in the sand and parts of it being pulled out of it, I think thematically makes sense. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm going for. Abandoned campsite. Oh, sorry, my neck is killing me. Abandoned next site, or that next site as I crack my neck. Abandoned campsite just outside gives players a spot to meet before heading in. That I'm not sure of. I might have, because we've been talking about, you know, do we want anything else in here like campsites, right? Like campsite, not as in like, oh, this is where the players go and camp a mob, but like do we want tents or something out there? And initially we were thinking no, but I completely forgot that there isn't supposed to be an archaeological dig going on over here. So maybe some sort of tents and stuff like that will end up getting added to it. I need to work on getting more tents actually modeled and put into the game so we have some variety at some point as well. But yeah, so just kind of going off of that right now, and just kind of trying to build it up, make it make sense, while also giving places that we can have as little, you know, kind of static camps beyond just, if we want something beyond just having the volumes where stuff is statically kind of roaming. So, you know, granted, I'm going to use Kelthin, even though this doesn't look like Kelthin, but just because that's where my characters came from. But, like, essentially, like, you know, this is more like Newbie Hill area where stuff's just kind of roaming, and then this could be a little bit more Orc Hill-esque, where there's, like, static spawns with stuff roaming in and out. As you're doing it, and then you could go into here, and you know, but depending on how we did, we could potentially have it similar to a Crushbone was, where you had a little bit more scary stuff outside, and then inside, you know, it's not as bad, but you still got that kind of like, oh god, I got to run through the gauntlet to attempt to get into the dungeon. But Kelthin falls off platform. That is literally the first couple minutes of my existence in EverQuest. I made my ranger and handed in my little note to True Shot there, and walked out. I'm like, oh, I'm in a tree, like, fort. Is there fall damage in this game? Because I never asked my friends if you could take fall damage. So I immediately hurled myself off the first bridge I saw outside of the Ranger Guild, and yeah, then proceeded to freak out because I thought I had lost my corpse forever, and that I no longer had my rusty dagger or whatever, rusty training sword or whatever it is that the Rangers start with, and my tattered tunic. It's like, oh no, I'm never gonna I'm not gonna be able to play this game now. not to mention that I could have just deleted said character and restarted, but I was like totally about to rage quit. I was so like disappointed in myself. I was like, I screwed it up already. But I think part of that came from all the horror stories and stuff I heard about like PvP and stuff like that. So I was like thinking it was a little bit more unforgiving than it was. Might be newbie friendly to have a peephole on one side of the wall to see spawn on other side. Yeah, those types of things, line of sight type stuff, I'll definitely play with. That might be something played with a little bit more once there's spawns put in. If we decide to go that route with the spawning of stuff, you fucked around and found out, as the children say. Yes, that would be exactly what happened. I fucked around with gravity and EQ and lost instantly in a super foggy GFA with my far clip plane basically turned to 0 because my computer would lag if it was any higher. It was awesome. LOL, I could see that. This is what I love. There's going to be tales about the game we all played from our youth that our kids and others would love to hear. Oh, my kids love laughing at my stories about stuff like that. It's important to find these things out early before you get G-fluxed and aggro the whole second floor and hate. Oh god, gotta love G-flux. Good times. Okay, so back on task. Let's give this a little bit more height. And let's add in another edge here. You could technically go through there if you wanted to. Got all these like extra bits and stuff down here that'll get deleted eventually. No, I must delete the bottom. I don't need the bottom anymore. Not quite sure why I have this subdivided so much. Oh, I know why. I was making a doorway that ended up getting buried. What happened here? Did I not? Oh, apparently I did not. Oh, something got screwed. Back. The like weird workarounds you have to do to get Pro Builder to like work with you sometimes are ridiculous. Yay! And in my, I could have just like selected the edge loop and then like delete, and it would have done the same thing. But I had to do all that extra stuff for Pro Builder. So how's everybody like the new title track that Robert has been working on? And if you haven't heard it before, it's what's playing right now. You like seeing the under ocean? Yeah, this is actually a holdover from the old... No, is it? Yeah, it's a holdover from the old Night Harbor, I think. So I think I just copied it over, unless there's been changes to it that I'm not aware of. But we haven't really touched the water in here, I don't think, or the water volume, because there's a couple spots that, ooh, I really messed that up. I'm like, there's something funky going on. I was right. But yeah, there's some water volume issues that need to get fixed too in here, because the geo doesn't match up where the volume was previously. Robert's really amazing, great track, one of the best yet. Feels full of life. Yeah, it's one of the first things that stood out to me as he was like posting like progress snippets of it. I just love how like adventurous it feels. Like it totally makes me want to like go out and have an adventure. Especially love like I think it's around like the 40-second mark, where it like just kind of like opens. I'm not musical, so my musical lingo here is not is going to be severely lacking. Like kind of like where it just opens up with all the different orchestral instruments playing together. I was like, oh man, that is awesome. But yes, let it be known I never claimed to be a musician. Okay, I'll fix the rest of this later. You guys aren't gonna want. You guys don't want to sit here and watch me move a bunch of vertices around, or collapse a bunch of vertices on each other. Okay, so maybe. Let's see. I wonder if the ocean will save me if I fall through the geometry. Right now it doesn't kill you because I definitely fell into it. Yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. For some reason, I started spawning like out here, which was not accurate to where I zoned out. So I just fell into the ocean. And I did not die, but I'm not aware if it was the ocean that's... I don't think the ocean actually saved me, because I don't think there's actually a water volume over there. It's just the ocean plane. And there's no solid ground to collide with either, so... I think I was just perpetually falling until I hit the fly mode. Oops, I'm supposed to hit the right hotkey. Sorry, I'm just, like, misclicking and bombarding you guys with Windows pinging sounds. So I'm sure that's getting picked up. Rabbit has good instincts. Wonder if he will design racial town music, but musical instruments he thinks will go with the race and cultural vibes. I don't think we've discussed any of the other cities. My guess would be probably, considering like Night Harbor already kind of has that kind of Middle Eastern feel to it. So my guess is yes, but I am completely guessing on that. I don't like this. Well, I gotta get back to work. It was good to see you guys, and keep up the good work. Alright, take care, Edgar. Have a good rest of your day. How big is the M&M game files currently? Re-downloading 88 gigs or 86 gigs worth of game. I do not know off the top of my head how large it is. Granted, we're also... it's not that large. I can tell you that much. But we still need to optimize some stuff. There's old textures and stuff. There's old texture files and stuff like that that isn't being used anymore. That's sitting in the game. So I'm sure it's more bloated than it will eventually be. Yeah, I think there's even some old like 8K textures like just sitting there, so it's definitely larger than it needs to be. is this afterward? Oh. Allergies are starting to act back up again. Anybody up to anything fun this weekend? Oops, I'm grabbing the whole edge loop again. Slid that too far. I'm just trying to make this look a little bit more like a doorway, a passageway of some kind. Without doing the arch like I was doing before. Oops. This is why I hate EVing in this program. Oh, man, I'm getting a headache. Apparently I haven't had enough caffeine today. Come on. Well, let's save, because it is being weird, and... there we go. What is going on? There. Good afternoon. Oh, hey Rye, how's it going? Let's see. Let's turn setting back on. Good way to screw up all my position. Good here, and yourself? I am doing pretty well. Minus the headache that just started like 5 minutes ago. Other than that, I'm doing pretty great. I'm not too sure how I feel about this corner here. It is way too... there we go. That's starting to feel better. So I'm just kind of breaking up some of these shapes just a bit to make it look a little bit more kind of worn down and broken and not necessarily as uniform and kind of grid-based as it does initially. I forgot to bring, I was working on this earlier and I forgot to actually bring it back up above the sand after I fixed it. Except I needed to snap that there. There we go. Let's fix that. I'm assuming this side did it too. Yep. I kind of almost want to run something like across that, but that could just also be a texture. But what I also want to do is this up. Like so. Oops. Got too much there. No, I need to bite that. So yeah, I'm thinking kind of walling these sections in to some degree. Let's do this a little bit in a faster motion, or faster manner. So I'm just kind of real quickly roughing spaces, and a lot of this is probably ended up getting deleted. It's going to use like super just fast trial and error type stuff. If I'm grabbing them right. Oh, actually select the forward. Sorry, I'm getting a little crazy with the camera, which I'm sure is not fun to watch. Hey Belfester, how's it going? And Kitten Army, how you doing? Alright. I think it's time. I need to run around a little bit. Oh, man, this headache is driving me crazy. Not too bad. Just waiting for work to be over with. Oh, I've definitely been there. Right now, I'd actually want to be focusing more on work, but I've had a headache for the last like 10-15 minutes, and it's starting to like really annoy me. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's because I didn't have an energy drink today. Golden Gloves, how are you doing? Been pondering today that using this username, which was based on a childhood nickname, is a very bad idea for a Codex man. I don't know. I mean, I've definitely had some... Oh my god, is she right here now? I have a feeling the pathing is a little buggy because they're all sitting on top of each other right now. Adding some runes to the Newbie art. Yeah, so the idea is, and I don't know why everything is stacked on top of itself again. So yeah, this whole area is going to be the Newbie yard. And it'll essentially be walled in. These walls are going to get like broken up. They'll be kind of more like these runes that I'm playing with. And then when you go through them, you'll end up in Shaded Dunes that way. And then this way you might end up in Shaded Dunes, but we might keep a little section of it just in Night Harbor. And then you walk into Shaded Dunes when you basically just cross west of that indicator. And we had moved, for now, we wanted to try having Wormsbane still inside this. So we moved Wormsbane closer. Wormsbane used to be probably actually kind of on the other side of where this rock is. I think I slid it over a little bit. And we wanted to put it up on this elevation so that you can see it, like right when you come out here. So you get the, you know, your first views are a Fallen Watch off in the distance and Wormsbane over here. And we have lore, which I'm not going to get too into, but essentially there's a bunch of old ruins in this area as well. So when I raised up that that area, I was trying to figure out like what's the not the justification, but like why is it elevated? Is it on like a rocky outcropping or something? And then I thought, oh, you know, let's just build. I have to build ruins here anyways. Why don't we make it part of the ruins? And then it started almost kind of feeling like a ziggurat like platform, not maybe a full ziggurat, but because I was trying to make the walls look a little bit different, like the big supporting walls, so I angled them slightly. And then I was like, oh, I guess I had already laid in some of this stuff, but it started to kind of feel like a yeah, there's definitely some broken pathing there. You know, it started feeling like it's on this platform. So essentially, I'll probably kind of mirror this over here in some way, and then kind of having the idea that, like, you know, this, it's buried under the sand, but essentially there'd be like a stairwell up here, and then kind of like this would be a landing. So this needs to get probably fixed a little bit, or have some stairs that are kind of like sliding out here or something along those lines. But essentially there'd be, you know, stairs if this wasn't buried in this kind of courtyard. There would have been pillars kind of lining up towards the entrance here. And then I was playing around with just adding in some ruins that aren't necessarily just small housing type things. You know, so this could be like, you know, some sort of structure or something like that. But I'm just kind of roughing in walls right now, that we could potentially put, you know, spawns and stuff in if we wanted to have more static outdoor spawns as opposed to just straight up volume based spawns and roaming. So just kind of right now, I was starting to actually do like some like actual modeling of it, but I just opted to go more with just dropping in basically indications of where walls will be. These aren't even high enough at this point, but some of them actually might not be full height. And again, you know, with breaks and stuff in them, you can kind of work on, you know, your line of sight, like, oh, where's that mob? Where is it? That type of thing. And then potentially, you know, like collapsed walls or something, like shading stuff over. But I think this area up here would be more of the thought out area, and then the other ones would be more kind of low scattering walls that are barely, not risen too high like this, kind of just like foundational type stuff. That allows stuff to kind of like walk over it and walk around it, that type of thing. Let's see. Difficult finding a new name to use. Been stuck on this one for way longer than I'd care. Those are just train starting kits. Yeah, that would be a nice train starter for sure. Agreed, I've been toying around with a few, but it's like giving up an identity. Oh, excuse me, guys. In the groups, you kind of know when. Mob spawns look AoE friendly. Sounds cool. Always makes sense to have a baby version out front for whatever the new or whatever key mobs will be in the dungeon. Yeah, and we had talked briefly about kind of some of this stuff. Let me move my character to a space that is not gonna like throw me in geo, because I think that's why I ended up spawning over there. I think I spawned in geo and then it tried to move me to a safe space, but we haven't actually updated like the safe space in the zone, so it's like way out, like floating in stuff that doesn't have collision on it. But yeah, we didn't talk about having necessarily static spawns out there, but it kind of makes sense. I use the GFA, like analogy, essentially. Like this area would be like Newbie Hill, that type of thing, and then this area would be more like Orc Hill, so maybe potentially more static spawns. That's just me. That we didn't actually specifically say that when we were talking about it, so that could just be me spitballing ideas that don't end up actually coming to fruition. But it could. Yeah, again, it's just kind of playing around with stuff. But having Orc Hill, and then you have a little bit of a gauntlet of potentially a couple like higher level skeletons or something out there that you have to run through to get into the dungeon. Definitely has that kind of classic feel, at least to me, because I remember trying to run by the Centurions to get into Crushbone on several on several servers at this point, and getting my face punched in occasionally. And then it also has a side effect of causing trains out as you're running away, so it just adds to the fun. Let's see, like some low rent skeleton clerics or something. You get the sense. I get the sense you're entering a new area with new dynamics and dangers. It's okay to speculate. We're going to hold you. We're not going to hold you to it. We're just along for the ride. Is there currently any lore behind these ruins? Seems terrifying that the city is perfectly intact, but you go 500 feet and it's a wasteland. Yes, there is lore. None of which I will actually be revealing, but there is lore. It may have been reworked since the last time I looked. It's been a little bit, which it probably should refresh on it just to make sure. But there is definitely some lore on what this civilization used to be, and that there's a kind of dig site going on here. So those things are all set for for sure. Let's play around with the idea of some of this, like... am I unlockable? No, I'm not. Let's see. Lower corrects the phrase. I'm going to use that in my next tabletop game. I don't know if this is going to give the idea of what I was going for. It kind of does. Yeah, I think it's starting to work. Okay, never mind. Started second guessing my idea, and then I was like, hey, no, it's working. Yeah, something kind of like that. Let's zero this all out. Oops. 90. There we go. Make a slightly smaller version. Yeah, I don't think I'll do the whole thing right now, but I'm just trying to, again, kind of play around with, is this going to give me the feeling of what I want it to feel like? I think that's starting to give that feeling of like an old stone, stairwell that is kind of shifted and broken up and stuff like that. So it's giving a much better feeling than what I was trying to do before, which still looks super uniform and not like broken up. So essentially, I may end up moving that over straighter because I think these will actually be building areas. So let's just do that now. It's really going to mean all this is looking alright here, and then it's not going to look alright in about 2 seconds. Alright, so let's play with this. And I'll probably end up playing around with the dunes, especially the dune area over here will probably get played with terrain-wise more than anything else, would be my guess. And I'll probably end up having to add in a couple more edge loops and stuff as I start to fill it out more. Oh, that's right, I don't want to do that. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of works. Again, not going to do the whole thing right now, but in reality, I probably should have thrown a material on these beforehand, but whatever. Cool. So yeah, I'll probably continue at some point doing this kind of maybe throughout some of these areas. Not solid, kind of like broken up, like it's coming through in areas and isn't in others. And again, you know, probably want to play around with some of this dune shape as well as I build that out. But let's get back to kind of figuring out this little, like, I don't know if I want to say temple or whatever this building is, or could be. Give it some more. Treatment. Cool. I think I'm just gonna have little like broken up walls and stuff here. If anything, it might honestly just be more like more of a dune kind of built up. Or you know what, this might end up being less of a dune and more of where the tents and stuff go. For the archaeologists. So I'll leave it flat for now, and if we decide that's kind of what we want to do, this is probably where they will go. Sorry, I'm not talking as much, but my head is like throbbing at this point. I was actually going to initially do a longer stream today, but I'm definitely going to be ending it kind of towards normal time. Because, yeah, it's not going away. And talking is not as fun as it should be. Something. I really wish they would fix that bug. There, it's a little bit better. Where it starts, like, tilting my entire screen. Ruins and dig sites would make a great location for some kind of archaeologists profession. There's definitely supposed to be archaeologists and stuff around here, so definitely something that could potentially end up being in here. So near Z for now. So yeah, this whole dune, I have to move up. This could be all caved in. I kind of like that idea, actually. So yeah. Make that more caved in. The only problem is Pro Builder going to actually let me model it that way? If I had to guess, probably not. Of course not. Nope. So annoying. So I'm going to have to do it this way using my favorite tool in this package of software. For anybody who's newer to my streams, I don't get along with the cut tool in Pro Builder as much as I do with the one in Maya. That's not the normal. Can't you just give me surface slide? Because that would make my life so much easier. I don't think I want to do this. I'm just going to leave that there for now. I may end up having to do that part in Maya, but my brain is hurting to the point where I'm just going to probably call it. So yeah, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I did kind of want to figure out this top area, because I feel like that's going to be the more designed area. Oops. Nope, that's not what I wanted to grab. That is. Although this is rotated, I want that rotated. So I got that. This area. Some spots you could put mobs. This could potentially be event or the camp if we do that. I could do something smaller, like a smaller version of that over here, and then just more broken up like pieces of stuff. Same down into here. I'm potentially playing around with the idea of maybe there's like a small like internal area of it too, but we'll see if we get that fancy with it or not. And then yeah, out here it's just going to be simple like not facades, but like foundations of buildings. Pyramid-like structures, like what these are sort of looking like, definitely need some alien-related conspiracy theory. Yeah, it's definitely getting that slight pyramid vibe. Although it's not as high as like a pyramid. It was initially meant as slanted walls, but when I put a corner in there, I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of starting to feel like a pyramid. But then that kind of gave me the idea. So it's almost just like a slight risen up plateau pyramid type structure. Pyramid light. And then, yeah, kind of like city streets and stuff kind of coming off of it. But they're not, again, they're going to be much smaller. And I think I want to have it so, like, they feel like they're kind of coming out of this dune. Like, maybe right here we'll have some more exposed ones. And then they'll kind of keep disappearing into the dunes. So that it feels like there's more going, like, it'll feel like this area's been kind of, like, excavated a little bit, and then up here is being excavated, that type of thing. And then, over here you might have like maybe a bit or a piece of something popping through here and there, but for the most part you'll just see more of it right in this area. It's kind of what I'm envisioning. But alright guys, I'm going to hit save, and I am going to do my end of stream spiel. For anybody who's new and doesn't know what we're working on, we are making an indie MMO that is very influenced by the classic kind of first generation MMOs. So think of EverQuest's, Ultima Online, Asheron's Call, Dark Age of Camelot, Meridia 59, like all those. So yeah, that link is to our website. Feel free to check it out, and there's a bunch of information about the game. We also have a Discord. Feel free to join that. We've got over 1,100 people in there now, which is awesome. It's a fairly active community. We talk about obviously our game. Well, all the developers are in there. We're pretty good at answering questions and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, feel free to hop in and ask there. But we also have, all sorts of conversations going on about game design, in general, MMOs, tabletop games, things like that. We have, members of the community that will share art, fan art and just personal art and stuff like that, which is always nice and inspiring to see. If you would like to stay up to date with the game but do not want to join Discord, feel free to join the mailing list. You'll get updates when we put them out. Also, we're hoping to have some testing with the community at some point before the end of the year. And you'll want to be a member, or you'll want to be on the mailing list if you're hoping to be a part of that. Besides me, there's multiple members of this team that stream to varying degrees. I think about half of us probably stream, or maybe a little under half of us. But feel free to check out all their channels. Definitely should. Throw them all follows so you get a notification when they go live. Also, if you want a notification whenever I go live, remember to hit the follow on the channel here. We also have a YouTube channel, which we all post our VODs. I have 2 that should be being published. They should actually probably be done processing now, so I'll be publishing them later. So look for those if you get caught up on previous VODs. But yeah, all of our videos go there, so feel free to check that out if you want to get caught up on past VODs. If you are watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe, comment below and all of that. It helps us out with the algorithm to help get the word of the game out to more MMO fans. So appreciate that. We try to read all the comments and interact and stuff like that on there as well. If you are on YouTube and you want to participate in my live chat streams, or the live stream chats, remember, or somewhere down in the description should be a link to my Discord, my Twitch. Sorry, my brain is like melting down and my skull's throbbing, so I'm gonna keep messing this up. But anyways, somewhere down in the description below should be a link to my Twitch, Paytus the Ranger. If you follow that, you'll get a notification whenever I go live. But feel free to hop into chat, ask questions about the game, or the tools we use, that type of thing. Always happy to answer questions. But beyond that, guys, I am going to call it a day, and I'm going to go probably take an ibuprofen and lay down for a little bit, because my head is not enjoying this. So, see you guys. Before I forget, my stream times are Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and until my semester starts back up, Friday, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, take care, guys. I will catch you on Monday.